Hello, Singaporeans. First, I would like to congratulate all of you, all of us, for having done an excellent job this election, this past 9 days, to fight and to stand alongside one another. It is the first time, at least in my life, that I have seen so many Singaporeans speak up for one another, to support one another, and to call out the racism and discrimination that we see other people face, that we see the people who stand up for us face. And we are willing to stand up for them, and I am so proud of ourselves, of you. It's amazing. Now, if you, like me, are angry at having your election stolen from you, now what I want to say is that we need to make a commitment to ourselves right now, to remember the next 4 to 5 years and what we need to do at the next election. We need to make that commitment now and remember it. You have seen that voting is secret, and we know that voting is secret. But today what we have seen is that we need polling agents, we need counting agents, and we need to make a commitment to ourselves to be voting agents and counting agents at the next election right now. Every election is not just about watching a show, voting, and then going back home at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. and then waiting for the results to be known at a coffee shop or at your home. We have a responsibility to be there at the polling center to make sure that no cheating happens. We have to make sure that we are there to stand our ground. At the counting center, we need people. We need people to watch how the counting is done, to make sure that there is no cheating. In Taiwan, the counting is done publicly. In fact, the counting is done at the same spot where polling is done, so that there is no cheating. The boxes cannot be moved from one place to another. And the public can go into these counting centers and stand at the back and watch. And I have seen the public scold the people counting for making a mistake. Not once, not twice, in fact, several times. Now, the PAP makes it difficult for counting agents. You have to register. Otherwise, you cannot go in. Then this is why we will register en masse. We will go together as a group. We will all register. And we will flood these counting centers and make sure that no cheating takes place. Now in Taiwan, the counting centers, there are just 1 or 2 or 3 at each place, so that it's very easy for people to take note, and it's also open to the public. In Singapore, the counting can happen in a school hall with 6 to 9 tables or more, and it can be difficult if the opposition party does not have enough volunteers. And that is why it is very important for us to not only volunteer as polling agents, but also as counting agents. Now, if the PAP wants to make counting a public event, we will make it a public event by registering and going there to register. Now, this is a responsibility and a commitment that we have to make for ourselves. Now, there's one more commitment that we have to make for ourselves. Democracy, speaking up, this is not something that we do once every 5 years. This is not something we do once every 5 years for 9 days in a row. We need to speak up for the people who speak up for us on a constant basis. The PAP is not going to stop here. After this election, they will continue to persecute the people who stand up for you. They will continue to smear these people. Now, you have seen with poor Tambyah how it has been unfair for poor Tambyah to be labeled spreading falsehoods under POFMA. He did not. You have seen how Raeesah was framed. Even though other PAP politicians have done actual racist remarks, Raeesah called out the racism, called out the discrimination. And the police was used to investigate her. This is wrong. Now these will continue, as you have seen with how the Workers' Party was persecuted from the last election, from the 2011 election to the 2015 election. It will continue. So you have to keep speaking up for them. How do you do that? We have to take part in protests. Protests are not a dirty thing. You have to go there, show them that you have numbers, that you cannot push us down. You have to take part in democracy workshops conducted by New Narrative or other groups. You have to take part in policy debates organized by these groups. You have to make a commitment to join these events, to come up with solutions, because the PAP and not the opposition, no one should have monopoly over decision making or policy making. All of us are part of that process. And for the next 4 to 5 years, and for the many years after that, we have to make a commitment to ourselves to take part in this process. Now finally, you have people like me who write things, it might sound exaggerating, I might be labeled as the troublemaker. No, but do not take our words for it. In fact, do not take the PAP or the opposition's words or anyone's words for it, even academics. Now, every time you see something written, go look at the facts and then verify the calculations for yourself. Don't think that it's because it's written by Roy Ngang or some other deranged person that you do not want to believe in it. Now go take a look at the numbers, because there are numbers before these numbers start to disappear. Because if the PAP has parliamentary majority, they can choose to refuse to answer questions as they have. And if they completely own the parliament, there will be no one to check them anymore. So this is what I think we need to do for ourselves. The lessons that we have from this election, remember it now. Make a commitment to volunteer as a counting and polling agent. Flood these places so that we can have transparency and there will be no cheating. Democracy is not a 1 in a 5 year thing. It is a process that we need to take part in every time, every day. We need to keep speaking up, discussing such issues, speaking up for people whenever they are persecuted, joining in such democracy classrooms, taking part in protests, not looking at them as dangerous events, but places where we can continue debating policies, solutions, and show up in numbers. We need to make a commitment. And we need to look at the articles written, analysis written, and think for ourselves and formulate our own thoughts. And look at the numbers and verify them. All these are things we need to do so that our election at the next election will not be robbed again. Now let's make this promise and let's make this commitment to ourselves, because we need to protect our country, our fellow citizens. I just want to end off by saying that I am very proud of all of you, because I have not known that Singaporeans can come together and speak up and fight for one another, and this election has shown me that Singaporeans can do that. And you want a fair, equal and just society, a society where people are not discriminated, where people are protected, and I am so proud of all of you. Remember this spirit, keep up with this spirit, and let's make a commitment to ourselves that we will continue doing so. Thank you.